We're in 5.6. We are in the shooter template. We have added some new weapons. We have a whole ass reload system cracking off, and each weapon does its own damage. We're about to shoot this guy with a sniper rifle and do 100 damage. We've got a health system as well, and as I say, we've got a reload system too. So once you run out of ammo, do this nice reload animation, and your ammo reloads as well. And if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments. We've also got a Discord as well if you want to ask me directly. So again, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy and have a wonderful weekend. Let's go to 5.6. We'll launch 5.6. And then we're going to go to games, and we want the first person, and we want the arena shooter variant. And we're going to create that. Once that's loaded, we're going to come to where it says variant shooter and open that so that we've just got our shooter map, and then we're going to play. And just to get an idea of what it is, it's got all these weapons and guns. It's got an ammo counter on the side. You press shift to change weapon. You can shoot these enemies and they die. So we're going to finish that by pressing the stop button, go to the content drawer, go to blueprints, go to first person, and go to BPFP shooter. Here in damage and death handling, you can see that we have a health event, but it's not really updating anything or displaying anything. A simple solution is to put a print string on here, and then we can print how much health we've got from there, and it'll tell us. But a more elegant solution is we're going to open up the UI. So we're going to go to variant shooter, open up the UI, open up the UI weapon counter, and we're going to get a size box. And then inside that size box, I'm going to put a progress bar. So drag progress bar down to size box. And then I'm going to set this size box to be width override, width height override. And that would be, width override would be 100, maybe 300. And height override would be 100, no, 50. From the padding, I want padding of 50 at the top and padding of 50 on the left. Bring it into the center. You can play with it and make it sort of how you want. Progress bar itself, I'm going to come down to fill color and opacity. Change this to green because health is green. Nothing in the world will change my mind on that. And percent, I'm going to chuck it at 1 so we can see it. Compile and save that. And then in the graph, I'm going to right click and get a custom event. This will be health update. And then I'm going to right click and get a safe divide. And then I'm going to shove A and B into our health update. And if I click health update, A can be current health and B can be max health. And then I'm going to get progress bar from variables, and we're going to set percent. The return value of our safe divide goes into set percent, and health update goes into the execution. So that is our health bar and system updated. We can close UI weapon counter now. And we're going to then open up its content, variant shooter, blueprints, first person, BPI shooter. We're going to open up BPI shooter, click add. I'm going to call update health UI. And here we're going to add 2 floats. So we're going to click inputs, and add 2 floats. And one will be current health. And the other one will be, you guessed it, max health. I'm going to compile that and save it. And then back in FP shooter, we can do, break this down a little, we can do the player controller, so this is on the left. And then we can get HUD. And we can call update health UI message. We can connect all that together. We can get health and short that into current health. And then this health variable here, I can control D that, and we can make that max health and chuck that in to max health. So now inside our variant shooter, we want to come to UI and we want this HUD shooter event. And on the left in the interfaces, we've got update health UI. So we can get this UI weapon counter from the left. And we can call health event, so health update, and connect current health to max health and connect all that up there. There's one more place we need to change it, and that is in variant shooter blueprints first person BP shooter controller. And then on possess here, we also want to get the HUD, and we want to call update health UI, and we're just going to hard code these values in as 500 and 500 because that's our starting health. So this is in the wrong place. We want it after the bind. So now if I press play, you can see that I have a health system, and it shouldn't do any errors. It does do errors. Why does it do errors? Because this isn't ready just yet. So we're going to right click on this, convert to validate get, and we'll shove an is valid in there. So now that should work. Come back, we've got no errors. And then to fully test it, we need some enemies. So we go to variants, go to blueprints, AI, BPFP shooter, type in AI cunt, and then change this AI controller to BP AI cunt. And now you see we've got health, it's printing, and it's back up here. There we go. And now if I come out of it, we've got no errors and life is good. So that's our health system. Right, now we can close down BPI shooter, we can close down HUD shooter, we can close down BP shooter controller and BP shooter AI. In BP FP shooter, we're going to want to come up to play fire montage, and we're going to double click on this, and we'll duplicate play fire montage. This will be play reload montage. We'll compile and save that, go back to BPFP shooter, go to the interfaces, and we should now have play reload montage. Drag it back up so it's all in the same spot. Drag this montage to play first person and copy it, and then so Control C, then Control V to dump it next to play reload. Connect all up the montages and everything. Compile that and save it. So that bit's done for our player character. Now in variant shooter, blueprints, pickups, weapon base, we're going to come down to this fire bullet here. I'm going to double click it. So right now, we click fire, it spawns a bullet, and then it decreases the ammo. But it never checks if we have ammo to fire. So we get our current bullets, check if they're more than, so greater than, and do a branch. And if they're more than or greater than 0, we'll fire, and if not, we won't do anything. So next, we're going to want to play a reload animation. So we're going to come down to animations, we're going to find the firing montage, Control D that, and we'll do reload montage, and then we're going to drag that out and get it, and then we're going to right click and get owner, and we're going to play reload montage. So play reload montage. I'm going to put reload montage into the montage to play, and then connect true to here. But the thing is, some of our weapons might not have montages, so we need to get the reload montage, and we need to get a is valid, and this time we want the question mark, and we're going to connect that it is valid to play reload montage. And then also, we don't want to be able to change our mag size until we finish playing this. So we're going to go to event graph because we can't put delays inside functions. So we're going to right click and make a new custom event. And this will be reload delay. And then we're going to right click and get a delay. And I'm going to put the duration into the red node. And then back in Firebullet, I'm just going to grab this set and Control C it. And in the event graph, Control V it. And then in Firebullet, I can call this event function. So that's delay, reload delay. So from is not valid, we're going to call reload gun delay. And we're going to collect play reload montage to the reload delay as well. And get rid of this set from here. The duration, we're going to get select. And this reload montage, I'm going to check is valid. But this time I want the function. I'm going to plug that into the index there. So if it is, I'm going to get the sequence length. So if we have a reload montage, then I'm going to get how long it is, plug that into true. And if it's not, then I'm going to get this false and promote it to a variable and rename this to be our reload duration. And I'll make sure that our variable is instance editable and expose on Swan. I can change it on the fly. And then finally, this little update the weapon HUD. I don't want this to fire straight away after this event. So I'm going to delete the connection to the sequence and move that to false. So we want to call it on false. And also to after reload delay as well. So if we have no ammo, I want to make sure that we're updating and say that we've got no ammo. And after we reload, I want to make sure we're updating as well. So I'll compile and save that. If I go to content, characters, mannequins, animins, and go to pistol, we have a pistol reload already. So we're going to right click that and create an anim montage, open up that montage. And then on the left, where it says default slot, we need to drop this down to slot name and change that to arms. And I'll show you why. That's super important. It won't play the montage if you don't do that. So we'll go to content, variety shooter, blueprints, pickups, pistol, BP weapon pistol. Now we have this reload montage. So we can select our reload montage here. And the reason that we had to change the slot is in this first person anim instance. So if you click on this little folder, you can open this up. It only plays the slot on the arms. There's no default slot here. So now if I go to play and I go and find a pistol, and I don't die. So I found a pistol. Now I'm shooting the pistol. I'm on my last bullet. So empty, reload. And it's not updated the UI. That's fine. So we'll go to weapon base and we'll grab this update weapon HUD, Control C, go to the event graph and Control V. Just put that into there. So now we'll play again, grab this pistol. And then last bullet, reload the gun. And we're back up to full strength. Okay, let's test this on a submachine gun. Right, so here we go, we're going down. I think this is defaulted to 0.5. So last bullet, no. So what's this defaulted to? So we'll go to content, go to variety shooter, go to blueprints, pickups, rifle, BP rifle. And we don't have a reload montage. Our reload duration is 0, so we need to change that to be 1. Go back to the level shooter. And now it should take 1 second for us to fire again. So we're on 0, there we go, 1 second up, and it reloads like so. Beautiful. So that's our reload logic all completed as well. Now we're going to add some new guns. So we're going to go to fab to get some weapons. So we have content, go to fab, type in guns, and we want free ones only. So we drop this down to free. And then we should get some free guns. So I'm going to use these weapons free ones here. They're just low poly, but there's a couple of reasons for using them. They've got the handgun that I want, and they've got the rifles that I want as well. So I'm going to add to project. Doesn't matter what version it is, drop it down to the latest one and add to project. So now that they've loaded, I can go to BP weapon base, go to the construction script on BP weapon, and these are meshes only. So if I go to weapons free, I can see that they are just static meshes. There's no skeletal meshes, whereas these are skeletal meshes. So we need to fix that. So if we have one of these weapons, it's not going to mess with our skeletal mesh either. So we're going to add 2 static meshes and parent the skeletal meshes. So that just means drag them underneath. Then from this construction script, I'm going to drag out and press S to get the sequence. And then we're going to get the first static mesh and type static mesh. Get the static mesh is right at the bottom, so we want the variable, and then we need to know if it's valid. It's valid. And we want this question mark one, which is the function. And what we're going to do is, if it is valid, then we're going to get TP weapon and set its visibility. Off is valid. And then we're going to get static mesh one, the one that we're checking here, and also set that visibility. But we're going to tick it to say that that one is visible. If it's not valid, then we're going to select these 4 nodes, Control C, Control V, and we're going to swap that around. So then the third person weapon is visible and the set visibility is not visible. So then what we can do is we can get all of these and Control D to duplicate, and then from them one, rather than static mesh one, we can drag static mesh to replace it. TP weapon becomes FP weapon, so we can just drag off FP weapon, drop it over this TP weapon, and static mesh one becomes static mesh, like so. And we compile and save that. And then inside BP weapon pistol, if we open up the full blueprint editor, and I go to the viewport, you can see that we've got this gun. And if I go to TP weapon and go to the skeletal mesh, I can just clear that. I need to do that on the FP weapon as well. And clear that. And then static mesh one, I'm going to type in pistol. So we get this pistol here. And then for static mesh, I also want the pistol. And then we just need to rotate it around so that it's matching the direction that the other gun was. And then compile and save that. Go back to content, go back to variant shooter, go back to blueprints, pickups, DT weapon list, and this pistol, just want to change it to be the other pistol, and save that. So we also need to add a check to make sure that if the first person one is valid, then, and there is a third person one, then we get rid of it. So we're going to get first person mesh, static mesh, and then get static mesh again. And on this top one, we need to do is valid. And from is not valid, we go into this other valid, and then we can get TP weapon and static mesh one and duplicate it. And from is valid, we want to make sure that both of those are hidden. And now when we pick up a weapon, when we pick up this pistol, it will only appear the once. So if we didn't do that, it would appear twice. Okay, the other thing is this pistol that we have. If we go to both of these static meshes, then they are blocking everything, so they're being a real pain. So I want to change them to no collision, so they don't block everything. And then play again. And now we can run around. We have a pistol that shoots, and it still uses the old animations, but that's because we haven't set anything like that up. This is just about how to swap pistols and set up new montages and everything. Okay, so now we can add a new gun. So we're going to Control D this, and we're going to add a sniper. And this will be static mesh sniper rifle. Where it says BP weapon rifle, we're just going to come here, Control D that, and this will then be BP sniper. I'm going to open that up, and we haven't got any sniper montages or reloads or anything like that, so we're just going to leave all this the same. And current bullet size, we're going to make this have, it's going to be a bolt action rifle, so it's going to have 1, and it's going to reload for 3 seconds. And then pistol bullet, we're going to come to pistol bullet, and we're going to duplicate pistol bullet. This will be BP sniper bullet. And then inside the viewport for the bullet, I'm going to change its scale. I want it thinner but longer. So longer, we'll put it at about 3 on the Y, and we'll make it about 0.5 on both the X and the Z. That's my 50 caliber sniper bullet. So now when we go back to BP sniper, I can then change pistol bullet to sniper bullet, compile, save, go back to our looter, and then I'm going to duplicate this cube and change the details on here to sniper. Press play from here, and we've got this sniper, but you can see that it's loaded the weapon. And that's because in BP sniper, open blueprint editor, go to TP weapon, we have SKM rifle, so we clear that, go to FP weapon, and we clear SKM rifle, go to static mesh, and we need the sniper rifle and static mesh, also the sniper rifle, and they're both facing the wrong direction, so we're going to click on this little movie tool and rotate those by 90. That's because in DT tasks we've not chosen sniper. So we'll make a run for it and get our sniper. There we go. And you can see that we are shooting the bullets, but we have collision on our sniper. So that's what happens when you've got collision turned on. So we'll come down to here and change these to no collision. And if you wanted to, the right thing to do is to go to weapon base and go to the static meshes and turn off the collision here for all of them. So now whenever we make a new one, we'll have no collision as well. So let's go over here. There we go. And now we need to change the fire rate on this. What? This is the best sniper in the actual world. So we're going to change the fire rate. Go to sniper, go to BP sniper, and then we've got all of these options here. So refire rate, we can change that to be every 5 seconds. I'll change that to be 2 seconds. And then we should be able to, and now we can only shoot when we have ammo. So there seems to be a bug with reload duration that we found, and I can't understand why, because it should work, but a workaround for the time being is just get refire rate and times that by 2. And then when we've got our sniper in the level, now the bottom left corner shows empty when we're empty, and then it takes 4 seconds to reload, and we can't fire while it's reloading. So that's a bit annoying. What we can also do is inside the projectiles, first person projectile, we can promote this to a variable of base damage, and then inside each projectile, so we've got pistol here, you can get base damage and set a value. So it's currently 25, but for this sniper bullet, I want it to be 100. Inside the first person projectile, I can then get a print string to tell that this is working. We'll pass base damage into here quick. And then when I hit him, there we go, we got 100 damage, because that's how much damage that projectile does. So we're going to do one more. We're going to come back to our variant shooter, go back to our blueprints, and we're going to go to pickups and back to projectiles, and I'm going to create a child of this first person projectile. Call this BP shotgun pellet. Open that up, and then I don't want it to be huge, so I'm going to go 0.05, 0.05, 0.05, and then I'm going to lower the collision as well. And also we've got this base damage. I don't want it to be 25 because we're going to spawn like 5 of these, so base damage of 5 as well. And that should be fine for the bullet. We'll go back to pickups. We'll go and find our rifle, and inside rifle we're just going to duplicate BP weapon rifle, and so be BP shotgun. I'm going to open that up, and we're going to have this be 5 and 5. Change the pistol bullet to shotgun pellet. Reload duration is going to be 3 seconds, but we know this might not work with new things. Seems to work with all the old ones, like it worked with the SMG, but for new ones, it seems to not work. We don't want it to be full auto. We want the refire rate to be about 2 seconds, and the fire and recoil is going to be 5. And that should be it for the time being. So we'll compile that and save it, go to open blueprint editor, go to static mesh, and then we're going to get the shotgun. And for the static meshes, we're going to add the shotgun. And then both of the skeletal meshes, so TP weapon, we're going to clear the rifle, and FP weapon, we're going to clear the rifle as well. Go to the viewport, we've got the static mesh facing the wrong way, so we're going to rotate that again. And this one as well. And then we're going to compile and save. And then inside the data table, so we're going to need to go to DT weapon list, duplicate sniper, call it shotgun, and sniper becomes shotgun. BP sniper becomes BP shotgun. So we're going to test that this is working before we change how we do the ammo, because we are going to change how we do the ammo. Because obviously we want more than one pellet, but let's just test that the first bit's working first. So we've got shotgun. Here's our shotgun, pretty like, and that shoots our bullets that we like. And you can feel that recoil on there as well. What am I getting shot by? So if I hit this guy, I'm doing 5 damage when I hit him. Beautiful. Okay. So now we're going to go to BP weapon base, and we're going to add in the shotgun spread. So we're going to get this calculate bullet spawn transform and duplicate it. And then this is going to be calculate bullet spawn spread. And we're going to open that up, and we're going to delete all this bottom one and this find rotation, and then from this multiply we want to do a random unit vector in cone in degrees, and this will be our like spread from the cone in front of us from the barrel. And then we want to make rot from X, so that's the rotation. I'm going to feed this into the rotation just here. And then we're going to come out of here back to fire bullet, and at the top get this bullet class and control D it. And from here we're going to do equals equals and get shotgun pellet, because we want the class of the bullet, not the class of the gun. And then we're going to do a branch. This little redirect node goes into the true, and false goes into the old spawn actor. And then from true, we're going to get a for loop and pass that in here. And I'm going to put 3 in here. And then I'm going to get calculate bullet spawn spread, and from this redirection that's going into the calculate bullet spawn transform where spawn actor is, so from the yellow line, shove that into target position. And then to test this is working, I'm going to right click on new param and split it, and then right click and get a line trace by channel. And the start position is going to be our new param, and the end position is going to be our new param location plus our rotation, which we get forward vector of, and then we multiply. We put the multiply into the plus, and the plus into the end. We right click the bottom of the multiply to make it a single float, and we put, say, 2000 on there. And then loop body goes into line trace by channel. So change the debug type to for duration, come back to the arena, and we'll go pick up a shotgun. That's a sniper. So we'll get a shotgun, and there's our bullet spread. And we know it's going in random directions. BP weapon base, disconnect this line trace, we don't need that anymore. And we'll get the spawn actor. So we can right click, spawn actor class. We can get bullet class. So we get the bullet class and put that into the class. And then from the transform, we want to disconnect all of this. So disconnect the location, the rotation, right click to recombine it, and the transform will go into there. And then from owner, we're going to get owner. And from instigator, we're going to get horn owner, which is a variable. Default collision is going to be try to adjust for always spawn, and loop body is going to go into spawn actor. And now when we play, that's the wrong gun, we'll spawn shotgun bullets. Probably need to be a little bit smaller, to be fair. They're quite big currently. So we'll make those shotgun bullets even smaller. So we'll go to projectiles, shotgun bullet, and full blueprint. And let's get the spear and make it even smaller. 0.01. So big enough to see, but not big enough for them to collide with each other in the air. There we go. Our shotgun is shooting as expected. And sets us up nicely. So back in our weapon base, in fire bullet, we're just going to go to calculate bullet spread, and this target, I want to do a select node from here, and I want to check if the first person weapon is valid again, and we want the function, because if it is valid, then we're going to use first person weapon, and if it's not valid, we're going to use static mesh, and that's going to calculate the socket location. So we just need to copy that, grab that and copy it, go to spawn transform, and do the same thing for our other weapons. This is just a like tidy up stage that we're at now. So we just need to make sure that we're using the get skeletal mesh, plugging that in to make sure it is valid. For our calculate spawn transform, calculate spawn spread. And then we need to go into our weapon static meshes, and we need to get a socket and call that muzzle. That'll be where our weapon actually our bullet spawns from. Inside our rifle, so we can go variant shooter, blueprints, pickups, rifle, BP weapon rifle. We can get this first person anim instance of EP weapon and open that up, and we can check the skeleton that we've got on there. And if we add in we go to BP first person shooter, we can see in the event graph that it spawns to hand grip R. If we go to hand grip R, right click, we can add preview, so we can add the rifle. You can see how well that fits. Then we can right click, add preview, and add the shotgun. Add preview, add shotgun, and we can see how well that just doesn't fit. So we don't want to mess with hand grip R, because then we've been messing with the actual gun as well. So what we can do is, out in the world, we can get our shotgun, and so we can come to weapons free, meshes, and we can get our shotgun, and we can come up to selection tool and go to modeling, and we can go to X form and transform, and first things first, let's get it pointed in the right direction. So 90, hit complete, bake it, and accept. Then when we go back here, beautiful, it's already pointed in the correct place. So now if we go to BP shotgun, it's rotated it incorrectly. So if we just reset it here, then that's fine. And then back in our level, we can mess with it some more. So we can bake transform. We can come to transform again, and like maybe lower the size to like 0.9 on everything. Hit complete, bake transform again. Go back to SK Quim. And it's still comically large. So we can do transform again, and like let's make it 0.5 this time, and complete. And then if you don't bake it, you won't be able to see it, so that's why we need to bake it each time. And now it might be comically small, or maybe that's a good size. So we'll play the level and get the shotgun, and now you can see that our shotgun is better in the hand. You might just need to make it a little bit bigger. And that's all you need to do for each of these, is just mess with their sizes and make sure that they can all go in where they need to go. Because once you amended it for your character, it will also amend it for the enemies as well. So you see the enemies wielding that gun, this one, like a crazy fool. Once you've changed it for yours, it will change it for theirs as well. So this setup. And that's it. So any questions, let me know down below, and thank you very much.